This is Renee Cobb, and welcome to Overtones Live.
Raise a barn and raise a roof. Horsepower of a different breed, built for comfort and for speed. And ooh, grass don't need cutting. Mountain high and valley low, God beside me, here I go. Summer wind and blue grass don't need cutting. Oh, the sun shines bright in the green rolling hills of our birth, and you're closer to heaven than any other place upon this earth.
Hello, everyone. This is Renee Cobb, and welcome to this special edition, The Women of the Bluegrass of Overtones Live, commissioned and designed in honor of International Women's History Month. Women's History Month is a celebration of women's contributions to history, culture, the arts, business, leadership, society, and more.
All God's people say amen.
We are coming to you today in an on-the-road edition from the Radiolex Debra Hensley studios at Greyline Station in Lexington, Kentucky. And today, we are honoring several women from across the state who serve in many roles as mothers, partners, wives, children, friends, everything. Today, we're going to learn about one of the most important roles they play and serve in life: female entrepreneurship and business owners. Yes, folks, each of these amazing and wonderful women run and manage venues in the state of Kentucky that also play a huge role and provide a massive platform and stage for local and regional musicians to shine as bright as the stars these musicians and these venue owners are. So without further ado, here is your Kentucky female business owning lineup. From Richmond, Kentucky's Chenault Vineyards, here is Christina Chenault. Let's get on I-75 North now. From Lexington, Kentucky's Twisted Cork, here is Whitney Adams. Now we're going to get on I-64 and travel to Millville, Kentucky's. We're having too much fun here. The Stave, here is Rebecca Burnworth. Welcome to all of you, and I'm so glad that you are here.
Thank you for having us. Yeah, thanks for having us.
I've asked each of you to introduce an artist and a song to our show today. So, Whitney, let's start with you. Who are we going to hear on our first musical break?
I chose, in honor of the Women's Month of March, Miss Ryan Sinclair, and I chose her song, Should Have Been Prepared.
Excellent. So here is Ryan Sinclair with Should Have Been Prepared.
Stargazing in a lightning storm, bathing suit in the snow, trying to keep warm. I should know better than to give you any piece of my heart. I should have been prepared. Should have been prepared. Should have been prepared to keep you at bay. Should have built a concrete fortress to hide myself away. What did all the others do? Why did I make an exception for you? Why did I turn to putty in the palm of a traitor's hand? I should have been prepared. Should have been prepared. Should have been prepared to keep you at bay. Should have built a concrete fortress to hide myself away.
That was Ryan Sinclair. And Whitney, what was the name of that song again?
Should have been prepared.
Excellent, outstanding. And thank you for bringing her music to Overtones Live today. Folks, we're going to do this group panel discussion style. And as I ask these beautiful women about several aspects of what they do and how they serve the music community, the first round, I just would like you to introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about what you do and why do you feel like you do this? So let's start with Rebecca first.
Oh, gosh, okay. What do I do? Well, I started, I guess, something like that, as an architect. I became an architect about 20 years ago, and I've been designing restaurants and bars ever since then, which led us into, we always joke that we accidentally own the Stave. So it was something that we actually came upon. So that turned me into a restaurant owner. We, like crazy people, started another restaurant last year. Don't do that, just one. All good.
Sounds definitely crazy.
Yeah. So we started District 7 Social last January, and that's been, it's funny, it's like exactly polar opposite of the Stave. The Stave is this little tiny 900 square foot place in the middle of nowhere. District 7's like this crazy 6,000 square foot place that people gather at, also on the Bourbon Trail, but in Lexington's distillery district. So a lot more going on there for sure. So I don't know. I'm a realtor as well. Like I have a lot of things to do.
Well, I know you're an amazing architect. Where have we seen some of your work?
I have to give kudos to my husband as well. Probably in the last 10 years, we've started building together. So some of the things I've helped with a lot of the places in the distillery district. So I was the architect for Goodfellas, Crank and Boom, Middle Fork back in the day, and Ethereal Brewing. We've done, together, my husband and I have done the rest of the Crank and Booms, the rest of the Ethereal Brewing venues, and Oscar Diggs, back when it was around, I did Enoteca. Let's see, Buddha Lounge, East End Tap and Table, Boondocks Restaurant. So a lot of things downtown and out and about as well.
So cool.
So impressive.
Thank you. Thank you. I think at this point we're kind of retired and just working on our own things and trying to make those amazing. As you know, you ladies know, it's just a constant, every day, just paying attention to what experience we're delivering, and to me that's just part of of restaurant design. It's designing the experience and what we want our customers to have fun, like what we want them to do in our places.
So Whitney, you're with
Yes.
us here today.
I am.
Whitney is my co-host also for Overtones Live, and I'm so glad to have you here now on the other side of the microphone.
I know. Thank you for having me, as always. Yeah, so I'm Whitney Adams, and I technically manage the Twisted Cork in Lexington. I have to give kudos. My mother is actually the owner, so still female-owned. She just does not really like to be on the radio or television or anything else like that. Although she's super social. If you've met Mama Sue, then you probably are wondering why she doesn't like to. But you put her microphone in front of her and she clams up. It's the most bizarre thing I've ever seen. But we are on Burt Road in Lexington. We just moved. We are almost coming up on our 1-year anniversary in our new location. So we kind of reorganized our business, where we went from being 10 years as a drive-through liquor store with a stage and a bar, and now we are kind of a full-on pub. It's a pub with a full menu. We still have a stage and a bar. So I really don't know how I got into this. My parents went on this weird thing where they just started buying businesses, and they were like, we're going to need you to run this. We're going to need you to run this. And I was unhappy in the career that I was in at the time. So I was like, yeah. And I thought maybe I would do it for a year or two. And now it is year 11. So here I am.
Well, that's outstanding. And let's give it up for Mama Sue since she's not here.
Oh, yeah.
And we have Christina with us from Chenault. Christina, welcome.
Hey Renee, how are you? Thanks for having me. So I'm Christina Pennington. I'm one of the Chenaults. We're family owned and operated out of Richmond. Kind of like my friend here, she said her family did this to her, so it's kind of how I feel too. So my parents bought what used to be acres of land. It was in Richmond. It was closed, and we brought it back to life. We also owned a restaurant back a few years ago, so I understand when you said 2 restaurants. That's crazy.
Yes.
Because we had hangars and we had the Vineyard all at the same time. So we are a full-service winery. We're in production, but we're an events venue, so music has become kind of my jam. I like that aspect of the business, so I get to be the general manager / owner. Music for me has been the fun part of my job. I've done the weddings, the corporate events, but music we get to provide to the community, and I wish I was a musician, so maybe that's where my love comes from, but I'm not, unfortunately. But I get to be a major part of it with being a venue owner and having all the local musicians, and hopefully even more coming this year.
Well, that's awesome. Do any of you all have any questions for each other regarding what you do?
I mean, I
or
have
why
to
you
say thank you, Renee, for putting us all together. Like we were talking about before going on, we are so busy that we never get to visit really anybody else's venue. And so to have that date that we have to show up to the mic is amazing. And we all get to meet each other is the best. And we try, even from the Stave standpoint, there was a day that it was like in January where it was super icy. Nobody was coming to the restaurant. My manager and I actually took off, went to downtown Frankfort, and just went to different places to say hello, because we don't get to see even neighboring businesses sometimes. So, really nice to meet you all.
Nice to meet you. Absolutely. I've tried for 2024, I have like made a goal that I'm going to do things I don't normally do, and I'm going to put myself out there and try new things. And one of the things that I'm trying to do is learn how to manage my time and have more life balance. And you would think after 11 years, I would have figured that out, but I'm actually getting worse at it. And I don't know how that's even possible, but I'm definitely getting worse at it. So now we're trying to like take some days and go to other local venues. And so I've been to the Stave, haven't been to Chenault yet, but I'm going to come. It'll definitely be on my list.
Well, we'd love to have you, and I agree. I try to force myself. I like to get out and see what other people are doing, what they offer, how does it feel at their venue, what could I do to better our venue. So I have tried to plan things to take my staff, so maybe we could bring our staff over to see you all as a team building and outing. That would be something I'd like to get to do in 2024 as well.
Well, that brings up a good point, too, about self-care. So let me ask you all, because you all play many more roles than just being a venue owner. And I'd like to hear about some of that. And also, what do you do with work-life balance? And just to let you know, I've been interviewing a lot of women for another initiative that's been going on. And many of them have told me, what is that?
Yeah.
And I see a lot of you all shaking your heads. So let's talk about the other roles you play. And also, what do you do for self-care? Rebecca, can I start with you?
So I do have a lot of friends that ask me, how do you do all of that? And this is a funny answer, but I cry a lot. Mm-hmm. And I think just to maintain my sanity, I mean, there's nothing I can do about how busy I am. It's just what I've done to myself, right? Like I take on all these projects and so to get through them, really, I think being ADHD is my superpower. So it allows me to kind of multitask to the max, which is also not my superpower. But I think my children fantastically have been super adaptive. Kudos to them for being dragged around to all the things that we have to do. So I'm constantly I live my life for them. I want them to have a really happy life. Even though I told them I'll never forget when I opened up D7 and obviously our work multiplied by manyfold, which really punched me. I didn't think it would be that much. But I remember saying to them after a few weeks of, we work at our venues. So we were pulling doubles all day, every day at District 7 to try to get it open, like work with our staff. It's one of our favorite things, make sure we're there for everybody. And I took my kids and we were actually went to like Bella Cafe. And I oftentimes, and this might bring some judgment on me, but I take my kids and we sit at the bar because I really want to talk to the bartender and like pretend that I have a normal social life. Like, hello, I would like to talk to you, even though I'm crazy slam busy. So the kids came with me and we would sit, and chat and eat our dinner. And while Eric was still at the restaurant, helping everybody close. And so after a few weeks of that, I apologized to my children. I said, I'm so sorry. This isn't normal. This will get back to normal. And they said, Mom, this is normal. And I was like, oh gosh, I've ruined my children. But they're so amazing. They're so, I think they have fun. And I'm not a big vacation taker. I don't know. So this is something I've tried to bring on for myself for self-care. You did ask what I did for self-care. So I finally started taking a vacation. And we go on Disney cruises, again, to take the kids. But we just, it makes me have a deadline. I sign up for one, and all I have to do is get to the port. Mm-hmm. I'm like, get us to the port, we'll get on that ship, and we'll travel around. But I finally take vacations now. I literally never... Probably for 20 years, I didn't take vacations. And now that the kids are 9 and 12, I feel like that's the least we can do as a family and try to de-stress for a minute until we get back. But we're just the luckiest humans. I feel we've worked our butts off, and I think we always feel grateful every single day.
Awesome.
Thank you.
So great.
Christina has 4 children.
Oh my God.
So you're on the hot seat next, Christina. She's probably used to being here.
I am. So 4 kids, yes, I juggle a lot. And I think I'm like you, the ADHD. I'm able to juggle a lot of
superpower?
things. It is my superpower, but also probably the ones around me wish it wasn't this way. But I can juggle a lot of things, and I can focus on one task and do it amazing. So my kids, they are used to this life. I've been doing this 4 years now, full time. So I was a stay-at-home mom before, and I got a divorce, and my family had opened this, and they needed my help, and then it just kind of became, it all started working for me. So to de-stress, I like to get my nails done.
Ooh, nice.
I like a spray tan. If you ladies don't get a spray tan, it is a game changer. I know that doesn't sound like a lot, but, a good 20, 30 minutes, go get you a spray tan, nails done, hair, any of those type of things. Because, face it, we own a venue. We have to at least look decent. And if we don't feel like we look decent, then it just makes our jobs even harder. So I think that's a hard part of our job is trying to look nice plus work hard all in the same.
Really
I'm sure you all can relate. So I always feel like if my nails and my hair are done, if I can get a spray tan, then I'm ready to go. So that's my self-care.
I love it. And Whitney, she doubles as working at the Twisted Cork, but she's also a full-time musician, too.
I am.
And a mother.
And a mom, yeah. But my kids are kind of grown now, so it's a different thing. I am not in the company of the ADHD. I'm actually very low energy. I'm the grounded girl of the day.
You're right between us today.
So, yeah, I love a good nap. That's my self-care. I love to take a good nap. Also, just could not survive without therapy and music. Music is also my self-care. Meditation, definitely stuff to ground me. My kids did kind of grow up in with me doing this and doing music, and I have dragged them to every festival bar I've ever played at. So they're quite unamused at it. They're like, oh, yeah, we don't really care about any of that stuff, even the really cool stuff. But they really do love it when I can, get them concert tickets. They like that. They like that. Like, do you know someone at that venue that can get me these tickets? And I'm like, yeah, I can do that. So, they love that. But it is really hard, and I think it's so important. Like I said, this year I'm really focusing on self-care because, I have to face it, I'm not getting any younger and my body is starting to feel it where I used to be able to do double after double after double. Now it's becoming more difficult physically. So, we have to take care of ourselves.
Outstanding. That was a great round. So I have another question for you, and I'll be ringing a little bell here in between all these questions. But the next question is this. What is a common misconception about the nature of what you do as a female venue owner or manager? And let's switch it up a little bit. Christina, we'll start over here with you.
Oh, put me on the hot seat.
Again, there's fire in this studio today.
Misconceptions of what I do, probably that I actually work, as a woman or as a family-owned business, what do you do? Well, there's a lot of behind the scenes, I don't do just music. We do events, I cater, from start to finish. I'm like you all, I work with my employees, I'm a team player. There's a lot that goes behind the scenes and a lot of hard, long hours to pull off events that we do that are either community or private events. And like Renee knows, we've got some amazing new musicians coming and new things coming to the Vineyard. And it's just a lot of man hours behind the scenes that you don't see. So as a woman, as a venue owner, I work. I'm sure you ladies can relate to that.
Yes, absolutely. I think part of it is the family thing. I think people automatically assume that we were just given something. I don't know what they think we were given, but they're I get a lot of comments oh, Princess Whitney, and she's handed this business. And I'm like, you have no idea. Can I hand it back sometimes? This is not a grand gift. But it is really, really hard work. And I think another main misconception, and this has nothing to do with gender, is that if you own a business, that you have all of this income, that you have all of this money that you can just give or spend or whatever with, and people just assume you're filthy rich. And I'm like, no one is filthy rich around here. Like, we are working hard for what we have, and that's something that really gets on my nerves.
I can see that. And I will tell you, I just saw like a post recently from a musician that said, some of you had your music careers handed to you, and some of you all have worked hard. And I kept thinking, all right. So I don't know one musician that's had anything handed to them music-wise, because if you back up, right, nobody can be a musician unless they've had training of some sort or education or, have had to work to kind of get on the stage or anything. So I just really, that's one thing that really is a bias of mine, is when people make any type of insinuation about anybody having anything handed to them, especially in your businesses.
Absolutely. And we'll have to have a side conversation about that.
Yes.
About the musicians handing things.
Yes.
That's crazy. It is crazy.
So
I think for me, they answered it really. Both of those things are things that I feel like I hear feedback on regularly. I think, and maybe that's me. I mean, I'll be honest. Like right now, I've been working so hard to make sure one restaurant is strong, that the other one was suffering a little bit, and I'll be honest. Like Sunday, I went in and they were like, "We don't think you care about us," and it really breaks my heart to hear that, because I really care about everybody, like they're my children almost. And I really, it was humbling. I have taken a step back and looked at solutions immediately, which, by the way, for me, like, we don't have time for problems, right? Like, none of us have, like, I immediately, if someone's like, we've got a problem, I'm like, all right, like, here's the solution right away. But it's frustrating to think that maybe people don't think that I work. That is something that's kind of like always up here, right? Like kind of, I don't know why that bothers me so much. And I think I have had moments in my life, I'm trying to say this, where I've opened my refrigerator and nothing's been there. So I definitely work hard for what I have, and every day is filled with, well, kind of insane. Like, it's just thing to thing to thing to thing all day long until I'm putting my children to bed. So that's really hard to take. And I think the other was, remind me again.
Now I have to remind myself what I said. That we were just like handed these businesses.
Yeah.
Like that we didn't invest or we didn't work hard to be
and that
able
we have
to
tons
invest.
of money.
Oh,
That
yeah,
is
that we have
hilarious.
tons of money. They just assume, they're like, oh, well, you own that. You must
Yeah.
be able to donate $5,000 here and here and here. And
Yeah.
I'm like, oh.
Yeah, that's again, I think in the same line or the same vein as, people not thinking I work. It's people thinking I have a lot of money, and I think I'm just constantly paying off debt.
Yeah.
So maybe someday I'll get to where it's like I'm in the green, but I'm good. I'm gonna keep working hard, and honestly, we're providing so many jobs for so many people that it's. That's my favorite thing. Probably is that we do have these teams that can come to work and make some money, and we can afford to at least pay them to do that because of everything
That
we
is
do.
so important. It is.
That's very rewarding. I'm glad you mentioned that. It is a rewarding part of our job, is the stability and a fun, safe work environment for all our employees.
Yeah.
Well, this has been a really great round of discussion. And before we go on to the next question, Christina, we're going to ask you to introduce the next musical selection to the show. Who you got and what are they going to be singing?
So I am partial to John Lovern. He's from Richmond and played for me the last 4 years. We've got a great friendship, and he's got the East Kentucky Blues.
Here is John Lovern with East Kentucky Blues.
Teeth in Jackson County is where I spend most of my prime, but I reside in East Kentucky, is where I trace my bloodline. My family's been here for the long haul, this land. Over time, the farm has settled. Busy lives can't lend a helping hand. Here come the long arm of the law now, collecting taxes on my home. But if I don't have to sing you a word, it won't be my home for long. I try to chase away the anger. Corn liquor brings it back in vain. That old sheriff, he don't give a damn. He'll never understand my pain. How they got me on the railroad, working my sorry ass away. But I ain't making me no living, just paving roads for doggone trains. Here come the long arm of the law now, and took everything I own. Eating me a bootleg shot of whiskey, so I don't face this all alone.
So you just heard John Lovern with East Kentucky Blues. Let's give it up for John. And thank you, Christina, for bringing his song to Overtones Live. So my next question kind of piggybacks off of that. But I love all of this, by the way. This is exactly why we should be together, right?
Yes.
I'm almost feeling we're having a therapy session here, right? But what is a barrier that you've faced as a female owner or manager, and how have you worked to overcome that barrier? Start with Whitney this time.
I knew you were going to ask this. I thought, what will Renee ask? And I guess I've been somewhat lucky. I haven't found too many barriers that have to do with my gender. The only thing I will say is that, and I'm trying to say this in a way, I'm in a room right now. I know none of the listeners can see us, but I'm in a room with very beautiful women. All of us are attractive women. And I think that has been something, like, I think if you are an attractive woman in business, then sometimes that can keep people from taking you seriously, or they want to sexualize you in a way that feels very inappropriate in business. So that, I guess, has been the number one barrier, and it does relate to me being a woman. But other than that, I guess I've been pretty lucky, I think. And maybe it's because I'm like pretty strong and direct that I haven't had too many other troubles with my gender in business. Yeah.
I think, and again, I'm going to try not to cry because I said that's my best move of self-care. But my mother had me late. She was only allowed, she's of the generation that was only allowed to be a secretary, a teacher, a nurse, or a stewardess. And she chose nursing. She was always very proud of her two daughters that were getting to move into careers that she could only dream of. And so I carry that with me all the time, everything I do. If you were to ask me the barriers of being an architect, oh man, there's a lot. A woman architect, there's not many of us. You know, we're moving into our careers when we are supposed to become mothers and wives. And so there's a lot of women that don't want to intern for 5 years and take, for me, it was 9 exams to pass to become a licensed architect. That is, the barriers there. I will say, you know what? I moved into construction and found less barriers. I found a bunch of men that were like, come on, girl, we'll show you everything, that were just amazing to me. And I don't, for whatever reason, maybe it was the ADHD, I don't know, but I didn't find that in architecture, not right off the bat. So for me, I don't know. I still don't think it was women related. I just knew that as a woman in architecture, I had to have the credentials and the talk. I had to be able to open my mouth and be good at what I did to gain the respect of those around me. And I had a fantastic boss that taught me how to walk into a room and own it, how to just be, I could say it in a certain way, but a very strong woman. So that's something I don't know if men have to do that. I don't think they have to learn how to walk into a room. I don't think they have to learn how to be a boss lady or a boss man. I think that's something that we have to do. So that's just a little, like Whitney was saying about the being sexualized. I think that's definitely true. I think of it as more of an annoyance, but like I said, I think we're all probably in this room subconsciously had to come up with ways to counteract that. And so for us, it's probably not a barrier. Maybe it is. I don't know.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it.
That's a lot of nice things you all said to go after.
All good.
All good. For me, it's probably been more a transition factor, not just being a woman, but I was a stay-at-home mom. I was married. I went through a divorce, sick kids, you name it. Our family's own businesses, so I've been raised in family-owned other businesses besides the Vineyard. We have construction, apartments, we build. So I come from a long line of entrepreneurs. So probably a lot of pressure to fill their shoes and to perform and to do a good job at what I'm doing. So I think for me, it's been one, my age, I'm younger to be in this business. 2, it's family owned. Like you said, just given to you or, just started for you. I had a great foundation, but I think I've put a lot of the hard work in. And I think for me, building trust with my clients, my customers, my musicians, I'm proud of that. And that was been great on my part and, being able to build the success that we're having right now. But I think probably being a woman, but my age and just not having that background. I came from that type of family, but I was a stay-at-home mom. So, just jumping into this world and running with it would be how I feel about it.
That's awesome.
So one of the things that really kind of makes me think, specifically to your comment, Whitney, about, I'm observing we all have blonde hair. So I want to just take it back in time because I know I'm the oldest person in the room right now, but it was interesting because I was watching some old films of my husband Warren, who was on Nashville Star. It was probably the 1980s.
No, was he?
Yeah. I'll have to send that to
fantastic.
you. So, and the hosts were, just kind of like, it's just your typical. It's like this predates, of course, American Idol or anything that we've seen, but it was very similar to that back then. And they said, we're going to have, the castaways sing, and after they get done, we're going to tell our this week's dumb blonde joke. Oh, and I was just like really just taken back so much in time because I remember a time where that was just very commonplace. So much even associated on a very unconscious level with blonde hair that comes out of that. And when I was doing an oral history project on the UK cheerleaders, so back then I'm doing this research on what they've all become, like the group in the 80s that experienced the first national championship. And as you know, most of them were blonde hair, and so these biases existed around what they were capable of. And it's just so interesting that all of them become these really great things like lawyers and doctors.
Thank God.
So it's just amazing. And sometimes I feel like we've really come far, but we still have a long way to go.
Yeah, for sure. And I think, I don't know for you ladies, but for me, because sometimes I am behind the bar and I am doing that, there's still a lot of interesting and non-progressive bar banter that occurs. Mm-hmm. And I would say at least once a week I get a dumb blonde comment still today, which is funny because now I'm going gray and it's not even really blonde. I'm I don't even have time to get I don't have time to get my hair done. My stepdaughter, she owns a salon and I still don't have time to go do it, but it still exists, and especially in venues. It's unfortunate.
I know I saw a Dolly Parton meme and it said funny for them because I know I'm not dumb and I'm not really blonde.
There you go.
That's
right. Amen.
My next question is, and I'll ring the bell here, what is the best thing about being a female venue owner? We've talked about a lot of really challenging stuff, but let's talk about what do you really love about it? And let's see, we're going to go over here to Rebecca first.
Oh, gosh. I don't know. What's the best part? I think things like this, honestly. I was just teasing my husband this morning that and it's not really about exposure, but it's also about exposure to other women that we don't often get out, like we were saying, and now to get put on these panels, to be asked to do a podcast, I absolutely love it, and I think for me, I try to mentor women as much as possible. Like I said, it comes from my background of understanding that just a generation behind me, that we weren't allowed to do certain things. I definitely want, it's funny, it's really bad, and my ADHD brain has totally forgotten your question now. But my
best thing about being an owner.
Best thing about it really is. It is mentoring. Mm-hmm. I think if you're a woman that wants to own a business, if you want to come around me and hear an earful, I will absolutely guide you into business ownership. I think that's first and foremost. I really think that's so important. Have you been thinking about starting a business? Great. Here's how you get an LLC. Here's how much it costs. Here's how you can do it. Set up a bank account, blah, blah, blah. So it's, that's probably my favorite thing. Just being able to mentor and guide women into business ownership.
So Whitney, what's your favorite thing about being a female business owner?
Well, just kind of to tag on to that, it is very empowering as a female to have the opportunities to do what we're passionate about or what we can do. And even if we're not passionate about it, just being able to be accepted and do the best we can. I also love how you said, we can provide jobs, we can provide opportunities for musicians, for chefs, for other people. So it does have an element where we feel like we're giving back a bit. That sounds really strange. That's a strange way to put it, but that's kind of how it feels. Mm-hmm. And a lot of time we give to where our resources are even almost depleted. We have that within us to do. But I love the empowerment that comes with kind of doing well at being in charge of something that we typically would not be in charge of.
Love it.
I love what you both said. So the mentoring and the empowering. So I feel like building a team is probably the best part. Watching them succeed, watching them be a part of something in the community within ourselves, but that we're also providing back to our community is amazing to watch all of that unfold over the years. Like you're 11 years in. How many years are you in?
This will be 6.
6. So
Yeah.
we've had the Vineyard since 2016, but I've been doing this 4 years. So just to see in the last 4 years what has happened, what the next 4 are going to look like in the team that we're building. And, they call me their fearless leader. And I'm like, oh, that's scary, but so exciting all at the same time. And I heard someone say this. I don't know who said it, but it says a rising tide lifts all boats. And for me, that was like, that's how I feel right now. Like we're rising and they're all on the boat. And watching them is excited about our business and about the musicians and what we do makes it all worth it.
Really great discussion, folks, and we're going to have more.
If ice cubes could talk, this bottle persuade. They tell you all the things I was too scared to say. Maybe you'd love me, maybe you'd walk away. I wish I knew you'd screw my heart this way. You're finer than bourbon, make me sway like fine wine. And Kentucky back roads make me lose my mind. The curves in their edges remind me of you. When I sip on whiskey, I think of you. Couldn't make you leave her. You promised me someday, but I got tired of her calling you away. Go on to her arms, that's where you'll stay. And I'll find myself with a whiskey heartache. You're finer than bourbon, make me sway like fine wine. And Kentucky back roads make me lose my mind. The curves in their edges remind me of you. When I sip on whiskey, I think of you. I watched this sunrise through some melting ice cubes, trying to block out my thoughts of you. My heart can't stop, you still make me swoon. And I wish I knew that you'd walk away. I wish I knew you'd break my heart. My heart this way. Finer than bourbon, you make me sway like fine wine. Kentucky back roads make me lose my mind. Curves in their edges remind me of you. When I sip on whiskey, oh, I think of you. When I sip on whiskey, I think of you.
So I've got a final question. I'm going to break it up into 2 parts, though, because we've got some time. So here's the final Jeopardy question this afternoon. What would you like artists to know or become educated about when approaching you or any other venue in regards to appearing at your amazing venue? Who wants to go first for this one?
With that, I think. And this, I don't know. I would love to know if this is true for you all, but for me, it's have patience, have persistence, because I am so dang busy. I'm the one that books the bands now at this point, and we have just know that I've got like an admin email for each restaurant, a public email for each restaurant, and at the Stave, and I'll plug this, it's music@thestave@gmail.com, because I get so many requests, and I get a huge volume of requests with and that comes with videos. And please always send a video. Always send a video of your work. I don't need to necessarily know that you played at wherever venue, but I just want to see what you do and hear songs. That's so important. So even just saying, hey, I've played before, can I play at your place? It has to be with a song. I barely have any time. So it's like when I do get to sit down and check my one of 10 email accounts, and I get to listen, I have to be able to listen to things. So for me, it's persistence. Please keep being perfectly persistent. And thank you very much for doing that. And I apologize. It's just, like I said, I don't know if there's feedback from you all on that too.
I mean, I agree 100% with all of that. I think for us, we have at the Twisted Cork, we have open mic every Sunday at 6 p.m. And the fastest, easiest way to get my attention is to come to that and sing 1 to 3 songs. And because I'm always there, and you will force me to hear you and meet you at that point. We do get lots of emails, and I'm the same way. And even people that I book consistently with us, if they message me at the wrong time of day, I might just think, I'm going to do it later. I'll get back to them later, and then I don't. So they know, I'm going to have to follow up with her because they know me. I think also musicians have to realize that their music might be amazing, but it might not be a good fit for every venue. And when we're so small, I have to be very particular about who I bring there because of the limited amount of square footage. Mm-hmm. I can't bring big, huge metal bands. It wouldn't make any kind of sense. And sometimes people get really personally offended by that. And I'm like, you're great. I would love to go listen to you at an arena, but not in our tiny, tiny venue here. So I think that's another thing to keep in mind.
I agree with both of what you said. For me, we have lots of different avenues of music going on right now, and I don't think either one of you have got to come. Renee's been to the Vineyard. So we do patio music. So like you said, the live bands, it's too much. It's overbearing. So, you have to know who we are and what all we offer. So now I'm doing Friday night concerts once a month where I can do the bigger bands in another venue in the back. So that's an avenue for me to have the bigger bands, bigger shows. But we're also going to bring back our Vibe in the Vines Festival. I did that for 2 years.
Sounds like
this
so
year.
much fun.
This year we'll have 3. So
awesome.
We've got some. You'll have to go to our Facebook or our social media. Tickets are going to be hopefully dropping March 20th for one of our big shows. It's going to be July 6th. So I'll be able to bring in some big acts, and then we've got a lot more fun things coming down the road.
Very
so
cool.
I have different levels of music that I can do. So just being aware that I don't just book patio acoustics 6 to 9. I do full bands just on different nights and in different ways.
Let's talk about some like business music etiquette things. Next, Whitney's got her head down because, but these are so important to know because a lot of it's implied, and we find out that it's just not. Yeah. Common sense is not common practice most of the
Renee's
time.
Worried at this point. I feel like she's like, what will Whitney say? She knows okay. I feel so passionately about this. As a musician, I guess I just assume, and because I'm a little older and I've done this for a long time, I just assume that all people know how to behave professionally as a musician. And that is not true. That's just not the case. And it's a little naive and ignorant of me to assume that people do. But I think for musicians and the etiquette, I think for me, I've always gone into a place, number one, I've always left it after I'm done with the show exactly or better than I found it. I know a lot of musicians come in and they are just like a mess and they leave all the stuff and they rearrange furniture, which is fine, but just put it back. I think...
Pick up your false eyelashes, too, right?
I have found some very bizarre things on our stage. Absolutely. I think being respectful to the staff. I think most musicians that come, they know that they have to be respectful to me. But then if I leave or I'm somewhere else, that I have had some really crappy things happen to our staff. They just, and I'm just not going to invite you back. I really don't care who you are or how great you are. If you cannot come and act in a professional and kind manner and treat our patrons and the staff kindly, you could have 10 Grammys on your shelf, and I don't want to deal with you. So that's just a few of my Whitney rants.
And don't bring outside alcohol in to drink.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. I mean, I don't mind, people bringing snacks in, but we, at the Stave, we give a set discount to everybody that's playing. So akin to a gift card, like, hey, here's your allowance kind of for the night, which I think hopefully is hitting the mark.
Yeah.
Because we want them to be able to apply that to their bill and then anything else they want for their families. So that was hard for us to manage. And I just want to say that so that people understand. My staff, we had a musician discount. And they're like, it's hard for them to police that, right? Because some musicians come with their families, with their guests, and they're like, Rebecca, what do I do? Do I apply that to the whole table? And it's hard for them to just say no to everyone. So I just say, look, this is the discount. They can apply it to their whole table, the whole check for them, whatever they want. It's been a lot easier for the staff to manage that. But that's, I agree. I think a proper etiquette. And just know, too, like, and I think we're actually going to change this up. We've had live music at the Stave every Saturday night. Our Saturdays are so insane. And you can imagine, especially like, let's say Georgia's in town to play football, right? And they don't have, they're not playing until 7 o'clock that night. Guess what they're doing? They're hitting the Bourbon Trail. So Saturdays, we just get literally pummeled and annihilated. Those are the two words that we use. And by Saturday night to also have a band come, we've made the decision this year to switch that up. So we're looking at Thursdays or Sundays, perhaps, but and maybe there's an open mic opportunity on a Saturday night. But for us, just know, too, that we're probably having a rough day. So forgive us, I think. And this is a lot. Like, I'm asking for good etiquette. like I'm asking for a lot. But I do want everyone to understand the realities of what we're doing. So there's a lot of times, like, if I don't happen to be there, that they're calling me, like, what do we do? Where do you want them set up? So that's me. That's something I need to do. But just know, like, at least at the Stave on a Saturday night, it's we've already gotten pummeled the whole day. So we are going to open the treehouse back up this year, though. So that
nice.
We didn't have it open last year. We didn't have enough staff, and I think we're going to just have it be fast casual with some snacks out there, kind of unapologetically. We've always tried to provide like good food out there, but I think we're just going to have to come up with a way where we can run it pretty easily with an extra bartender and be able to provide that live music.
Yeah, I like that.
Thank you.
Love the treehouse.
I can't wait to go visit the treehouse. That sounds fun.
A guest called it that, and we have a deck, a wraparound porch, and part of it's like a wood deck. And so forever people would say, well, out on the deck. So we built this deck out back. And it was so confusing. Everyone's like, well, you mean the deck out back or the deck on the side? And finally, a guest called it the treehouse. And we were like, that's it.
Yeah, I love it. I can't wait to come visit the treehouse.
It's up about 8 feet because we're in a floodplain. So yes, please.
So thankfully, I haven't had a lot of issues. We do more acoustic, and I've done some of the bands and 2 big shows. So I'm still learning. I'm still new at this. But I'd say like the communication, I try to do my part, doing their part on what sound we're using, how many breaks, where do we park, all of those things that go into it. And like just being respectful, like if the venue owner does want you to turn it down a little bit, like this musician, like we love your music, but maybe it's a little too loud or maybe it's not loud enough. Like we're trying to work together. And for the most part, that's gone well for me. But I have ran into a few issues of, either a no-show, non-communicative. You run into those things. So just always being polite and caring about your communication. And it goes both ways, as the venue owner, to give them all the information they need, but that I have their information as well. And just respect our wishes. And, everybody's happy.
What's your best guidance to musicians when UK events are going on and they're playing music in the background?
Oh, gosh, that's so hard.
It is so hard.
It's really hard because I've been on both sides. So at the Twisted Cork, we just made a decision many, many years ago. Like, we lean toward music. We only have 3 TVs. We're very small. We have, marketed ourselves for a music listening type of place. So we always have the game on, and people know that the sound is off. It sometimes annoys the musicians still. You know, we never cancel anything for a game. I schedule all through the sporting season. And I had someone not too long ago that was upset that the people that were there were watching the game and not paying attention to them. But I think that's just like part of being a grown-up. Like, that's just part of knowing. And I hate to be so harsh, but like I said, I'm so direct. I'm like, you're just a grown-up. Not everyone is always going to pay you attention. And it doesn't mean that you're any less valuable or any less talented. It's just, you know, the room that day. So that's just our personal choice that we made, is to lean toward music. And for songwriter events, even if there's a game on, we just turn the TVs off.
Yeah.
Just completely.
I'm doing my first songwriters.
Oh my God.
It's the
Yes.
16th. It's March
Yes.
16th. So I'm learning. I'm super excited. But yeah, I'm like you. We lean towards music.
Yeah.
We have one TV by the bar and 2 outside. We'll turn it on, but you know, we're there for the music and to see our friends and hang out and try wine.
So I would say same with the Stave. I mean, we've got TVG on the inside, right? We're in the middle of horse country, so
Yes.
we always have the horse racing on, unless the guys in the kitchen want to watch a specific game. But really, it's not about that. People are usually travelers, so they're not even aware of what UK is doing, and really, you know, our venue's outside. So it's and in rain, we bring them in on the porch where there's no TVs. So we don't have much competition for whether it's sports or music at the Stave. We did try to do music at District 7, and I think the acoustics just, you know, it's funny, you know, BMI and everybody's kind of hounding you. And I actually called them back and I'm like, hey, listen, love you guys, have all my proper licensing at the Stave. I said, but I don't think we're going to do this. We tried. And I think it was just, I think people at District 7, like, they want the sports. And we actually have been turning on the sound to the sports, and it's been great. Everyone's been coming to watch games. And I think, sadly, we're not going to do music there this year. I think it just,
Well, you have
for whatever reason.
you have to
just
do what
didn't work.
works. And like I've tried to like do a couple of like tailgating game days. That's just not who we are. I've tried. I have it on, but you know, we're definitely more patio, wine sipping, live music.
That's awesome.
So
It's so nice that you have both. Like, since you
Yeah.
have two, you can have one where you do music and one where you do sports. I can understand why you're like a little upset about it, but at the same time, I totally agree. Like, you have to do what works. You can't force
Well, we
it.
were still trying to figure out what works too,
Yeah,
you
sure.
know, to some degree. But we were like, "Ooh, the acoustics are terrible. Like, we can't do this." Or it just didn't work because we have essentially we're kind of a bowling alley. We have duck pin bowling, we have a golf simulator, we have ping pong. So it's kind of this fun, just big giant gathering space where everybody's kind of feeding off each other's energy and they're watching. So to drop music, live music into that, which kind of takes some attention, it's just too much. So good stuff.
oh,
But
all the
we'll
fun
keep
stuff.
it at
I
the
can't wait
Stave.
to come see what all you
know.
have.
Yeah.
Well,
Both
right,
of
if you
you.
need a staff outing, that's definitely District 7 is. It's really, really fun. It's really fun.
We're trying. It's just where do you find the day and the time?
I know.
You know, the best advice that we've given a lot of guests on Overtones is to check out what the schedule is, check the UK schedule. And I mean, you've got to make those decisions for yourself, right, as a musician too. If that's something that you feel you can deal with. If you could sit there and play music and people watch, you know, TV, but not everybody's personality is like that. But I think it's real important that you find out what else is going on in town before you proactively go out and try to play at a venue. So let me ask you in regards to that, what would you like artists to know about, I don't want to say expectations, but I do want to say that we use working in concert. It's a business model. It's an ecosystem, right? Everybody's supporting each other. But what would you like artists to know about just basic etiquette and expectations around marketing their time when they are going to be at your venue?
I talked about how busy we are, and that's on me. And so I think we do it as Facebook events. And so I will not lie. If a musician does it first and then invites us to it, oh, awesome.
It's a relief. Right.
Like, I will always take that because I even have like staff help me where I'm like, can you just find a picture of them? Can you do this? honestly, we are more than happy to help market on Instagram. If we could, like, the perfect setup for me would be, number one, they email me with a video. I pick them, I choose them, I get them scheduled. If they give me the available dates, if they're like, here's an array of dates in April and May and June, awesome. Because we book out about 3 months ahead, and I am late to the game. I have not done that this year, so everyone's starting to text me, which is acceptable if you've been on the stage like for the past 5 years that we've been open. But please don't Facebook friend request me because you're a manager, and that's super awkward. Like, I'm like, just email me. But once that happens and we book you, the more photographs you send, awesome photographs that are, I would say, venue neutral. So I will even get on their Facebook page and look for, a photo, and they're like on the Burl stage, and it's obvious because there's a big tree behind them. I don't really want to, I mean, I love the Burl, but I'm not here to promote them. I want to promote you. So if there's a nice, a beautiful Jory Bowling has some amazing, these really sweet, pictures of him playing guitar, or like him with a mason jar, like, great. That's exactly what I want to put out there. But I think, so I guess just say venue neutral photographs, black and white, a color. I will be able
portrait.
to promote you really, really quickly.
I love that you say that, because I've been trying to find like live videos to share. Well, they're at other venues, which I don't care to share them, but it's like I want to share their sound and like why I picked them. So maybe finding some of their music that's not all at other venues.
Right.
I agree with you.
Yeah.
That'll make it easy.
Yeah, I think, I mean, I agree with all of that. I don't think musicians understand, especially like the capacity that we all book music and how many events we book a year, how much time it takes to even create Facebook events for each one of those things. And then you do your website and then Instagram and everything else. But I think just basic etiquette for them is to like, make sure you share the event. Make sure you tell your friends and family that you're going to be coming to play for us. So many times I see, and I'm friends with you on Facebook, and you beg to come, and we book you months ahead, and we've created an event, and we're sharing it on our calendar, and you have not mentioned it once. And then you get there, and you're like, well, why are all my friends not here? And I'm like, well, did you tell anybody? That's step one.
Yeah, that's good advice.
And I just want to say, I can't speak to the value of having high quality photography and a high quality video, and also a bio, and also be present social media wise. We were just with a seminar with a company that sync licenses songs for movies or TV shows. So you notice, like, if you hear Yellowstone, you hear a lot of really regional presence. There is a lot of money in getting your song on a Hollywood movie or a documentary or TV series. And the number one thing that all of these, I think they're called just music managers for that specific project, like a movie, is they've wanted to find a specific song. They've gone on Spotify and they can't find anything else about the artist. And they want the song, they can't find anything. And they say, if we have to hunt you down, you're going to lose your opportunity.
Can I add
yes,
to that? Can
please.
I say, I would take, I think I'm going to be creating a Facebook event. So also probably an Instagram post. So it has to be, I think, the quality of photographs. I mean, take a look at our Instagram and see the examples. I think something that suits that, but also a bio. I can't really publish. I know this is so weirdly specific, but hey, we're talking about it, so why not? But I think a paragraph long bio, just something sweet and simple. This is who we are. This is our sound. Maybe a little background, but just really short and succinct, so people can go, oh, great, this genre of music, Saturday night, we're there.
I feel like the bios are really, I'm new to this part. The bios I've been getting are really long.
Yeah. And it's hard
like
for
what,
you
It's
to
like, what
take
part do I want to take
extract.
out of
That's
that,
right.
and to get across to my audience of who this is, that I'm, especially with the songwriters that I'm doing is new. So trying to tell about these songwriters who are coming in from Nashville or wherever, like, what's the biggest point I want to get across that people will want to come and listen and meet them.
And read that entire Instagram post.
Yes, and I will just say, have the long bio for your website, but have an elevator speech.
Yep.
And you should really commit that to memory, so you can espouse that when you're on the stage, or in anybody you're trying to pitch yourself to a venue.
And I think that's the one we want for the social media
Absolutely,
posts.
absolutely. Well, it's been wonderful having you all here today. I'm so excited to get home and start working on the show.
Thank you for having us.
Let's make plans to do this regularly. I would love to do this as a quarterly event and also just talk about different issues because I think we could go on probably forever and ever on this.
I think, and maybe this just is happening in my head, but I want you to know, like, I'll be there for you guys forever. So for me, like, it's neat to know that there's other women venue owners out there that we just, I always want to support local business, and I'm really excited to get to your places. I feel badly. I didn't even know you have a new location. I'm so excited to go to that.
It's only been a little less than a year, so.
So, and same with Chenault Vineyards. I can't wait to get out there and hear live music out there as well.
No, I'd love to
Very
have
cool.
you all and get to come see your places. And it's nice that we can all relate.
Yeah.
We understand
Thank
each
you,
other's.
Renee.
Yes, thank you.
Renee's
Well,
the
I'm
best.
just out in broadcasting. It's the same thing. There's not very many female broadcasters or podcasters around town as well. So it's very, it's nourishing to the soul to be with you all today. And I am just so grateful that we've been able to elevate the work that you do and also celebrate Women's History Month, which is all month long, folks. So tell a very special woman in your life how much you appreciate them and everything that they do to make your life better this month. Thank you.
Thank you.
So, ladies, before I excuse you today from class, we've had a little bell ringing. Where can we find out more about your venue? Christina, let's start with you.
So we are big on Facebook, Instagram, and our website, and I like to do a Tuesday lineup. I don't know about you ladies, but we have lots of events besides music going on. With our food, we have our yoga, all kinds of fun things. So on Tuesdays, I post that lineup, especially if we're closed for a private event. I hate for anyone to drive out if we're closed. So always check social media on Tuesdays for that lineup, and then our website should have everything that matches.
Excellent. And Whitney?
Great. Yeah, you can find the Twisted Cork at twistedcorkcafe.com. We're also on Facebook and Instagram, all of our events, and we too do a weekly and a monthly schedule, so you can find everything you need to know there, and a menu online on the website as well.
The most instant and updated information is always going to be on our socials. So Instagram for some event information, but mostly Facebook events for who's coming, and I think everything you need to know is right there.
Excellent. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
This seems like a great place to end this episode of Overtones Live as we bring you the Women of the Bluegrass series, showcasing female business ownership in Kentucky. And we would like to thank our guests for being on the show today, and to all of you for making a choice to listen locally this evening. Until next week, this is Renee Cobb, reminding you that when words fail, music always speaks. Have a great week filled with family, friends, music, and lots of love. Listen locally, everyone.
To the girl you love, treat her right, never wrong. How mountain girls can